The NHL playoffs are fast approaching and teams are starting to clinch their spots and be eliminated, but how do those teams stack up to each other? Let's find out in our latest power rankings, starting of course at the bottom, the two teams who only care about battling for whether they finish with the best odds to land the #1 pick in the upcoming draft, the Blackhawks and the Sharks. And up above them in the bottom tier, the garbage tier, we have the Bruins, Predators, Flyers, Penguins, Ducks, and Kraken, who had a really good week last week, getting a couple nice wins off the LA Kings and the Vancouver Canucks, dashing their playoff hopes a little bit. On the other side though, the Nashville Predators had another bad week in a season that's been full of them, getting absolutely obliterated by the Stars, which is understandable, and the Blue Jackets, which is a bit more surprising. The next tier higher is labeled barely has a pulse, as in these teams are still technically alive and have not been eliminated from playoff contention mathematically, but it's pretty unlikely any of them are going to make it. This includes the Rangers, Canucks, Sabres, Utah Hockey Club, Detroit Red Wings, and New York Islanders. And the surprising one in this group is the Sabres, who are still somehow alive and able to make it into the playoffs, and that's bolstered by the fact that they had a pretty good week, going 3-0, including 2 tough wins over Ottawa and Tampa Bay, and a win over Boston as the wheels continue to come off that wagon. Bruins are 2 games under 500, still mathematically alive, but I don't anticipate they're going to be alive much longer. They're basically brain dead and nobody has pulled the plug yet. Up another tier, we have the Chaos Goblins. You know who they are, the Canadiens, the Flames, the Blue Jackets. Canadiens had another good week, 4-0, including an impressive win over Florida, and then 3 easy wins over Philly, Boston, and Nashville. At this point, the Canadiens seem pretty locked in to make the playoffs. I think they have something like an 85% chance to make it as of recording, which, as you know, terrifies me as a Caps fan, who they'll probably be facing in the first round. But there's still a chance that they can make it, unlike the other teams above them, including the solid playoff teams, the Wild and the Devils. Both of these teams have been floundering a little bit of late, but they're both in such a good position, I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs. Fraud Watch used to be occupied by the Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights, but they have been replaced by 2 new roommates, the Panthers and the Oilers. The Panthers just had an absolutely terrible week where they went 0-3-1, all games in their division, all losses that were fairly close. Montreal's was in overtime, but still, a little bit of a skid before the playoffs is going to be a bit concerning to Panthers fans. Moving up to the next tier, I got 2 teams that I am just all in on. The vibes are high for the Ottawa Senators and the St. Louis Blues. Just let it ride, baby. These 2 teams are hot, hot, hot. St. Louis's lengthy win streak just came to an end, but they are still 9-1 in their last 10 games, and the Ottawa Senators 6-3-1 in their last 10. Both these teams peaking maybe at the right time. Then we have the Cup contenders tier, which I will add the LA Kings to, along with the Vegas Golden Knights, Carolina Hurricanes, Tampa Bay Lightning, Colorado Avalanche, and Toronto Maple Leafs. All teams that, again, legitimate shot to win the Stanley Cup, not the favorites. But above them, still in their own tier,
I'm in danger!
it's the Washington Capitals, who continue to struggle. They beat Boston and Chicago last week, which are expected, but they lost handily to both Carolina and the New York Islanders. Alexei Protas is out. Logan Thompson might be out. This team is slumping at the absolute worst time, and they need to get things back on track. And as a result, they are not among the elite teams, which includes the Dallas Stars, who had a terrible week that included an overtime loss to Minnesota and a loss to Pittsburgh. Ugh. And also joining them in that elite tier are the Winnipeg Jets. The playoff picture is getting clearer, and the question is going to be which teams are peaking at just the right time.